On Monday's hot sheet, I'm discussing on today's hot sheet. Monday, what am I talking about? Geez, I'm like the prez reading this teleprompter here. Okay, on today, right now, in freaking 5 minutes, I'm discussing the Zillow Market Report, housing starts, and the NAHB Homebuilder Survey, as well as mortgage applications. A lot going on today, which is Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. I am Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. All right, there you go. Here we go into today's hot sheet, July the 17th. I hope everybody is doing great. Let me know in the live chat which market you're tuning in from. I see Brad from Move to the Motherlode, BBQ, BBQ, BBQ. Today is the BAM BBQ. We are also 1 month away from August 17th. August 17th, if you are a real estate agent, a realtor, an MLS subscriber, is the date for the NAR settlement implementation. The settlement obviously won't be approved until November per the judge. That's when she's due to approve or not approve the settlement, make that type of decision, obviously. But August 17th is the date that NAR has decided we're going to go ahead and implement what we've agreed to inside the settlement. 1 month away. What has your broker said? What has your local board said? Do you have a Loctite plan going into it? Are you hoping something changes between now and then? Hope's not a strategy. We're going to help you build a strategy and get the mindset needed to have a dominant second half of the year. Later today at noon Eastern. That's 9 a.m. on the Pacific Coast. Totally free event, BAM BBQ. If you haven't signed up yet, we'll drop the link here in the live chat. It'll also be in the replay. If you're seeing this after the 9:30, obviously, so you can sign up. I'm going to be kicking off the event with Sam DiBianchi. Sam is former star on $1 Million Listing, the Bravo series in Miami. She regularly appears on Fox Business, on CNBC, and other mainstream media outlets to help educate, close the knowledge gap with folks on what's going on in the housing market. We're going to be talking about the housing market, and she's an independent broker down in South Florida. We're going to be talking about these changes that I just mentioned coming up on August the 17th. Luca Cree from Reminder Media is going to be talking about how to convert leads with Facebook advertising in 2024. He's going to give you some of his secret sauce so that you can generate leads right now for the second half in 2024. What's working on Meta and not. Chris Smith, I'll also be sitting down with Chris on a fireside style chat to discuss what we need to say right now while all these changes are happening, the science of sales, and what exactly do we need to say to navigate through what's happening in the industry. My co-host for our Knowledge Brokers podcast, Tom Toole, one of my co-hosts, he's joining us talking about time management, how to streamline workflows getting heavier, higher right now during all the changes. Tom Toole's got some strategies that you can implement there. And then Paige Steckling, probably the best listing video implementer on social right now. How do you actually get listing videos to convert and not just be a poster for your seller to say, yep, they checked that box, but how do they actually convert and turn into more business for you and for your listing? Paige is going to talk about that. I'll be moderating. I'm doing those two firesides like I mentioned. We've got Eric, the broke agent, and Luca from Actually Agents. BAM BBQ. There's going to be entertainment. Of course, if you come to one of our other two live events earlier in the year, we bring it on the entertainment. This is the third one. I think over 5,000 of you have already registered so far for the event. I'm already hearing about a bunch of office watch parties. Tag me, tag BAM on Instagram. If you're doing the same, if you're doing a watch party, we're going to share as many of those as we can here throughout the day. So I'm looking forward to that. Now let's get into what we've got here on the docket for today's hot sheet. Up first is a Zillow report. Zillow's reporting that price cuts are all over the place. Their headline is "Price Cuts Abound" as home sellers see inventory piling up. I think Sam is going to have a different take on inventory when I speak to her at noon. Zillow's take is that it is piling up. Usually a Zillow headline on their own report wouldn't be as catchy as this. So Skylar Olson, invite obviously to come on to Knowledge Brokers is still out there, Skylar. I encourage you to accept that. But Skylar going with a pretty catchy headline right there. Home listings are piling up as buyers step back from peak home shopping season faster than normal. Interesting that, and I mentioned this here, and I agree with Skylar. The home selling season, the spring season, the peak season that we, typically see the majority of home buyers in did feel like it ended sooner than a normal market. Let me know in the live chat. Do you feel the same way? Did that peak season abruptly come to an end? Did it end sooner than it has in the past, or maybe not recent past, but a normal market? Think back if you were in the market 17, 18, 19. Did it end sooner than those normal markets did? Housing market that for years has been defined by fast sales. Those are recent years, and few options starting to look more like it did before the panty in terms of competition among buyers and the negotiating power, if not cost. Okay, so total number of homes on the market has risen throughout this year. We talk about this every Monday as we lead off the week. We spoke about it this Monday. Okay, I shared those numbers, where we are on inventory. Of course, week over week, according to Altos, we slightly ticked down. But total number of homes on the market risen throughout the year, ticking up 4% in May to June, according to Zillow, 23% above last year's low level. When we look at Altos research year over year, we're upwards of 35+% from this point right now versus the same point last year. Zillow's numbers are showing from May to June, you had that 4%, but last year's low level, we're at 23% last year's low level. So Zillow coming in with a little bit of a lower number than the number we're tracking on Altos. Okay. A lot of times, Zillow, Realtor.com, for example, Redfin, they'll use their data on their portal. Okay. So, there's a lot of different data points that you can point to. Again, all of them are showing double-digit increases, 23% here for Zillow off of the low last year on inventory. Inventory levels, according to Zillow, are 33% below pre-pandemic averages. Smallest deficit since the fall of 2020 is right now, okay? 33% below pre-pandemic. That's the smallest deficit. That deficit's been wider at every point since the fall of 2020 besides now, okay? What else is in this report? By the way, the full report or the full takeaways on the hot sheet show notes, as well as all of the charts, we'll get into some of the charts here in just a minute, are available for you on BAMX. So BAMX members, you have access to all of this every single day on the hot sheet. Go ahead and get your download in there. Use code HOT to get 10% off of BAMX. And by the way, BAMX members, reminder, after the BAM barbecue, after tonight, BAM Mania ticket, the pricing, the early bird pricing is going up after the BBQ. So BAMX members, you get your 25% off that lowest price. So if you've been thinking about BAM Mania in Vegas in October, make sure you take advantage of that. Okay. Inventory, again, total home up according to Zillow. New listings have decreased 9.2% month over month. So that peak season on the decline, 9.2% down month over month, 25.6% lower than pre-pandemic levels for new listings. Days on market. Homes sold in June typically took 15 days to sell, 5 days shorter than pre-pandemic norms. Okay. Pre-pandemic, Zillow's numbers were showing 20 days. Price cuts, 24.5% of listings had a price cut in June, the highest rate for any June in Zillow records since 2018. Alto's showing us over about 38% on the price cuts. Normal market, Alto says 33. Zillow website shows 24.5% of all listings took a price cut on their website in June, highest June since 2018. 2018, June and into November, we were seeing interest rates go up from where they were. Up in that environment, we would take 5% today all day long, but that's what they were ultimately going up to at the time. So 2018 makes sense to me. That would be the last time you saw this level of price cuts. Mortgage rates, a median income household can afford mortgage payments in just 9 of 50 major markets, according to Zillow. Zillow's count of home sales for May was 27% below pre-pandemic levels, 27% less total sales than pre-pandemic levels. Sales are now 35% lower than pre-pandemic norms. So we're continuing to see this suppression of home sales right now in the market. And that is the real estate recession that we're seeing right now. Here's the Zillow home value chart. They've got 362,000 for the U.S. Obviously, we've seen numbers even higher than that. In other data points, month over month, they are showing a decline here, not a decline, 0.59% increase, but a decline from the previous month. Okay, so that's Zillow's home value right now. Days on market, again, showing 15 days on market right now is Zillow versus 20 days pre-pandemic. Here are the days to pending sales in some of the major metros. Austin, it takes 42 days. Jacksonville, Miami, 40 days respectively. San Antonio and New Orleans, 36 days. Okay, on the lower side, you've got Charlotte, Vegas, and Minneapolis all taking 16 days to pending. Nashville and Dallas and Riverside, California are all under 20 days. Atlanta, Houston, Virginia Beach, New York, Orlando, Phoenix, Tampa, and Memphis are under 30 days, but over 20 days to market. So those are some of the days it takes to pending from some of the major metros. Here's your inventory chart, more inventory than 22, 23, 21, but Zillow not showing inventory levels right now at 2020. Interesting, because Altos Research does show us right now above year over year when looking at the same point in 2020, above 2020 levels. Zillow not showing the same there, okay? New listings has us hitting right now in 24, Zillow does, the same level we were at last year, which was the lowest level ever recorded on new listings. Okay, look at this. We saw this for this particular week with the Altos report. This now shows us at this moment in time the same level as last year on a sharp decline right now. And last year's numbers are not a place we want to be on new listings. It's the lowest levels ever recorded in the history, and it really will keep inventory suppressed. It obviously keeps the market in this locked up effect, and we want to get away from that, hopefully, as fast as we can. Okay, here's where price cuts are happening, according to Zillow. Okay, you have the majority or more, rather, higher increase of price cuts happening in Florida. Okay, you have Texas, high level of price cuts. Out west, okay, Northeast, lower levels of price cuts. You have lower inventory in the Northeast. So that's in line with what we've been seeing elsewhere. Okay. Newly pending sales, okay, year over year down 4.4%. That's in line with what we've seen everywhere else. And 2024 now, Zillow showing below 2023 levels. Altos Research, which we cover on Mondays, has us flat, basically. It was like a couple thousand over 2023 levels. Zillow showing newly pending listings on their website below 2023 levels. Okay. Inventory is up and pending sales are down. We're going to get into mortgage applications here before we sign off today on where we're at on mortgage application, where we're at on demand. But that right there is a picture that I might share with a seller, right? Don't just talk about the market with a seller who's thinking about going on the market. Prove it to them, show it to them. What's it doing? I'd bring a chart up like that. Hey, here's how much more inventory we have right now. And yet pending sales are less than last year, which we obviously saw last year, a huge reduction in pending sales. So if we want to find the buyer today, right now, we've got to take that into consideration. I mean, we've got to come to the market with a really well executed plan on our coming soon strategy, how we're presenting the property, what we're doing to position, what I'm going to be doing to increase interest and this FOMO experience leading up to launch date, what pricing strategy we're going with. There's multiple ways to price. There's ultimately 3 strategies you could price with. Which one are we going to pick? We don't want to end up on this days of market situation that is increasing right now. Okay, so there's your Zillow report. Some differences on some of the things we've been seeing, but ultimately most of it, the big numbers are in line with what we've been seeing, talking about here. Zillow believes price cuts are increasing on their website, highest levels they've seen, while inventory on their website is piling up. Again, this is Zillow's June 2024 report. All right, moving into housing starts. We had a release this morning. U.S. Census Bureau released data on new construction housing starts. Okay, they're showing an increase in building permits and housing starts compared to May. This is good news for people who are bullish about new construction, want to see new construction add more inventory. We saw a couple of months of declines on these numbers. I actually expected that to continue. Why? Because existing inventory is their competition. It's a builder's competition, and it's increasing. And builders want to be very conservative. They don't want to be left holding the bag on inventory. But we saw a slight increase. So for those that might have been worried about builders slowing down, this month, you don't need to worry. They're showing a slight increase right now on starts and obviously on permits. Okay, we know that completions, and the completion number came in high again. We know that completions are going to be coming in higher because of all the building that we've done, and they want to hurry up and get these completions, obviously moving. Okay, so completions as expected coming in higher. I'll bring up the numbers here. Here's the chart. New residential construction completions up, permits up a tick, and starts also up a tick. Here are the actual numbers. Seasonally adjusted annual rate. Building permits coming in at 1.446 million. Housing starts coming in at 1.353 million. Housing completions now, seasonally adjusted, is 1.7 million. Privately owned housing units authorized by building permits in June, seasonally adjusted annual rate of the 1.446 million, 3.4% above the revised May rate. It's 3.1% below the June 23 rate. Single family authorizations in June were at a rate of 934,000. That's 2.3% below the revised May level of 956. So single family authorizations actually did decline slightly into May, because the number that drove this increase here was actually units with 5 or buildings with units of 5 or more. So the multifamily had a little bit of a tick up there, which is surprising to me. That's been on the decline now for months. Privately owned housing starts in June, 3% above revised May estimate, 4.4 below June of 23. Single family housing starts, 2.2% below May, and June below May rather. June rate for buildings with 5 or more was 360,000. They don't have the comparison there percentage wise. And then completion. So that was starts. So permits and housing starts. When you look at it, actually, single family, year over year, definitely down. But even going month over month, just down a tick. Okay, so when you when you take multifamily, add it in, it shows it up. When you pull multifamily out, down a tick. Okay. So a little bit different there than my original analysis. Looking at the top line numbers, housing completions now 10.1% above May for privately owned housing completions, 15.5% above last year. Single family 1.8% above May, and there you go on completions and starts, as well as building permits for new construction. Builders now, how do they feel about the future? This is really, how do they feel about the next 6 months? The NAHB, National Association of Home Builders, Wells Fargo Housing Market Index, the HMI. This is something we look at every single month to basically see where builders are coming in. Builder confidence in the market for new single family homes fell. So the confidence outlook on the next 6 months down a tick, fell to 42 in July. It's down 1 point from the previous month. Higher for mortgage rates, as well as elevated rates for construction and development loans, continue to put a damper on builder sentiment. Maybe that changes going into next month, as we've seen this interest rate kind of pull back here as of late recently. All three HMI components in July remain below the threshold of 50. Okay, so anything above 50 would be more positive, below 50, less positive. Present sale conditions fell 1 point to 47. Expected sales in the next 6 months did increase, though, to 48. So they're optimistic. Maybe they're just thinking glass half full because they've got a lot of inventory coming. You see the completion numbers. They're completing properties. They need to sell them. Still below 50, where you'd want to see it more positively above 50. Expected sales for builders in the next 6 months increasing 1 point to a confidence score of 48. And remember something about this conference, NAHB, the association tends to have a lot of small, medium builders mixed in. So this isn't a full picture of what the national builders are feeling right now. This is all builders kind of grouped in here, and maybe less national builders. Maybe it's less reflective of national builders' opinions on the market, but certainly those smaller builders across the country. Traffic of prospective buyers declined 1 point to 27. Okay, so traffic right now down significantly for new construction, according to the NAHB. Here's your chart right now. Last time we were above 51 would have been, or above 50 would have been in April, March and April. We were above 50 for home builders. It's obviously during the peak selling season. Last time we were as high as 56 was July in 2023. Of course, you saw October 2023 when the rate got all the way up to almost 8% there. You saw 40 in October of 23, November down to 34, December down to 37 before that interest rate had recovered by then, and you saw the confidence come back up in the spring. Okay, so home builder confidence still very, I would call it overall shaky, according to NAHB. And in July, 31% of those builders cut home prices to bolster sales. Okay, that's up from 29% in June. So much like the Zillow report, home builders across the country are using price cuts, new prices, price reductions as a strategy to entice traffic and hopefully speed up the sales process. The average price reduction in July remains steady at 6%. That is for 13 straight months now at that number. The use of sales incentives. Sales incentives. Do those work? Do giving somebody an incentive to sell something, is that a strategy that's worked for decades? According to Warren Buffett, it is. According to builders, it also is. Okay, the use of sales incentives held steady at 61% in July, the same as June. Okay, builders believe in incentivizing not only the consumer, but incentivizing agents. Okay, builders believe that a sales incentive is a strategy that works. They've been using it for decades. They've been employing or deploying rather these types of strategies for a long period of time. Here's an example of just that from one of the biggest home builders in America, D.R. Horton, using the incentive of 8% commissions. One of the biggest home sellers in America, I tweeted, believes in this strategy of agent incentives. Okay, while our current DOJ doesn't believe incentives work. The current DOJ believes consumers will be better served if you have a lesser caliber agent, an agent who's not able to earn a commission income. That's what the DOJ wants. Who knows if that DOJ will still be around to make those decisions come January 2025. It's not just real estate DOJ is trying to bust up. It is all business, okay? But the market usually wins in these situations. The market usually tells you what the market wants. And builders right now are saying, we want to incentivize. We want to make incentives not only to the customer, to the client, but also to agents. 61% is the use of sales incentives, according to this most recent NAHB poll from builders. Okay, so there you go. There's your builder update from NAHB Homebuilder Survey. If you want to learn more about feeling great about your incentive opportunities, obviously today, noon Eastern, BAM BBQ. Join us there for the free virtual event. If you want a rock solid plan for your second half, I think the link is in the live chat. We'll continue to keep posting it. We're just 2 hours away now from BAM BBQ. Before we sign off here, let's take a look at mortgage application. Where is the mortgage demand right now? In this, according to Mortgage Bankers Association in this country. Okay, so mortgage applications increased. Headline number: mortgage applications go up 3.9% from a week earlier. It's fantastic, right? We've seen in the last 35, 40 days, we've seen the 30-year fix drop from as high as 7.35 all the way down to 6.8. Oh my gosh, the rates are driving more demand for mortgage applications. Not so fast. Okay, 3.9% is a combined number between refinances and mortgage application. The refinance index, okay, according to Mortgage Banker Association, increased 15% from the previous week and was 37% higher than the same week 1 year ago. The seasonally adjusted purchase index, this is what we look at, the purchase index, decreased 3% from a week earlier. Why do we look at that? Because that's a bigger indication of demand. Okay, that's a bigger indication of how many buyers am I going to have here for the rest of the summer as we start the second half of the year. Okay, so purchase is down 3% from 1 week ago. Okay, this is 14% lower than the same week 1 year ago. Okay, the unadjusted purchase index increased 22% compared with the previous week, 14% lower than same week year ago. Seasonally adjusted decreased 3% from 1 week earlier. Okay, so purchases still trending down on a seasonally adjusted. The unadjusted did show the 22% pop from last week with the lower rates. And more interesting than that is the refinance really popped. Okay, so I went and I looked here at Joel Kahn, MBA Vice President, Chief Economist comments. Okay, why did these refinances drop? Application activity up 4%, driven by a 15% jump. So this top line number was driven by refinances, highest level since August 22 on refinances. FHA and VA refinance applications accounted for a significant share of the increase. These are likely recently originated loans with even higher than current offered rates. Okay, so you'd have to be at 8% though to look at 6.8 and make sense of the numbers. So I don't know, Joel Kahn saying that, he's saying these are likely. Where's the data that suggests that? I don't know. I got a feeling that there's just so much as, mortgage holders have $17 trillion in equity. And you keep hearing it. I mentioned it yesterday on the hot sheet, talking about You keep hearing it in politics. You're hearing it in how people are going to vote. You're hearing it on finance media, CNBC. This economy's not working for a lot of people. And for rates to get down to 6.8 all of a sudden, and you have 37% pop year over year, 15% pop in the short term here on refinances, people rushing to go ahead and do this refinance. Are they trying to grab some of this equity while they still have it, obviously, and grab some cash that is locked up in their house to kind of get through an economy that's not working for them? That was a red flag that went off to me. Joel Kahn, vice president, said it's likely people who have a higher rate. Well, I mean, as high as you really could have been right now is 8, maybe a bad credit, maybe 8.25, 8.5, maybe your credit's improved. It's a pretty significant pop for people, I guess, in that situation. And again, 1% it's like a little bit borderline. You can finance on 1%, but for the cost of it, you really got to do that analysis. How many years am I going to be in this home to make sense of really saving on 1%? 10-year Treasury is at 4.18 here to start the day. Kind of been rocking around that range here for a bit. 30-year fix yesterday went up slightly to 6.84 after multiple days of declining. Got all the way down to 6.81, 6.84. Much better range than we've been here. If we just look at, where we've been since, April and, even into March, right? The last time we were down lower than this was for one day this year on February the 1st. Oh, that February the 1st, that Thursday earlier in the year, we got down to 6.63, 6.69 on January the 12th. And then 6.61 was December the 27th. So this is one of the lowest, ranges that we've been in, really outside of that first month of the year. Okay, 6.84. And we've been on this trend down now since the recent peak of July 1st at 7.14. We've been trending downward ever since then before, yesterday's slight uptick. Why are we trending down right now, and how much further can we go? Well, let's just take a look back on last year's peak, which was October 19th, the 8.03. From that point in October of last year, we started to see really good inflation readings in Q4. And you see these significant pops. I mean, in basically a week, we went from almost 8 all the way down to 7.38. We saw these wild half a point swings, right? From November 13th to say December 12th, we went down almost a half a point. Then December 12th, in 2 days, we went from 7.09 to 6.62, another half a point swing. That was on December 14th when we were at 6.62. From October 19th to December basically 14th to 6.62, 2 months, we went down 1.5 points on the 30-year fixed. Why did that happen? There was this belief in the market that in quarter four, as we entered January, that we're going to be seeing an early year, quarter one, maybe beginning of quarter two, federal interest rate cut. Okay, that didn't happen. Quarter one, we saw some hot inflation reads, and what happened since then is quarter one and quarter two, these rates have gone up. Now we have 100% certainty. Yes, that's right. That's the headline that I posted onto my Instagram story yesterday, and I got like more reactions on this story than I have on really any story in recent memory. Here's the headline from CNBC. Here's my tweet. Traders see the odds of a Fed rate cut by September now at 100%. They're 100% placing a bet that Fed rates cut happen in September. I'm an advocate of let's just place September with July and get on with this party. Let's make it happen. Okay. We'll see what happens there. That's coming up June 25th, June 26th when the FOMC meets. Overall, the investors believe there's going to just be another hold there. But now 100% belief that we're going to see this rate cut happen in September. So the market now, and it's why we've got 2 record days now on the market. There's some people in a camp that say, hey, the market likes to know going into an election year stability, who the president's going to be. After this weekend, they believe they know who the president could end up being. So that's one camp of why the stock market's having these records. The other camp, I think, probably a camp that makes a little bit more sense on the investor measurement is that, okay, we got 100% cut coming in September, so we can start planning to that. We know now when that's coming. And so how low could this go? Well, it got down to 6.61 off of the belief that we were going to have a cut in the first quarter. So we're at 6.84. You could reasonably believe that we're going to have, 6.6, maybe 6.5 range here in our near future. Now, if you go from our peak of 7.5 and the last peak at 8, and once that belief came in that we're going to have a cut, we got down 1.5 point, then you could make a stretch case that if we're going to lose another 1.5 point from our most recent peak, April 25th, at 7.5, and we lose 1.5%, that this 6.8 could get as low as 6 based from between now and when that cut happens in September. You could see a 30-year fix before the end of the year as low as 6 based on last year where it went. Best case scenario. Obviously, if you just look at how low it went last year, you're talking about 6.6, 6.5. So some momentum starting to build around this FOMC Fed rate cut. It's reflective in, obviously, the 10-year and recently here in the 30-year. We see this momentum continue to build, the 30-year continue to drop. You'll see that builder sentiment over the next 60 days pop. You'll see consumer sentiment pop. You'll see buyers, how they feel about buying a house right now, pop. And this might be an opportunity for buyers to go in and get their last bits of negotiating. If it gets down to 6, take advantage of these times. Spring selling season over, the peak over, the sellers who are on the market, a little bit concerned. Maybe an opportunity for those to go out and get some negotiating in before potentially competition ramps up next spring. Certainly could look a lot different than this spring. Your second half could look a lot different than your first half with the right plan. Join me and over 5,000 others at BAM BBQ today, noon Eastern. We are now less than 2 hours away from the BBQ of the summer, from the virtual event of the second half in real estate, absolutely free. Just a completely hot lineup of hotness in sense of knowledge, Bobby. I see you smiling over there on the hot. This is the hot knowledge on this event. A ton of great entertainment. Hope you're doing a watch party. Tag us on Instagram if you're doing that. Really appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of the day. BAM X members, you get full replay access to BAM BBQ. Use code HOT to get 10% off of BAM X right now. You also get access to all the downloads from this show each and every single day. So BAM X members, full replay access. We're going live at noon. Over 5,000 of you have signed up. Appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you at the BBQ. Until then, toodaloo.